How does it feel to be the architect for the first pagan temple in Northern Europe in 1,000 years?
I mean, as I've described, it has taken myself something like 15 years to design this. I started for a long time ago, and I've started a lot of things in my life, and normally I've kind of changed my mind in 15 years, but this building still feels good. I'm just very proud. I feel honored. When you get used to some kind of a better stuff, then it's very hard to go to the worse. Yeah, we're building a first temple after a long period of bad culture, a culture where only one religion was allowed. You were just killed if you had another. So I think it's something that I have from the antiquity, from the stone piles in Iceland and the Stonehenge in our neighboring country. It's manifesting that you know where you are on the planet by having due north, and also showing in the building where the sun comes up on the shortest day and where it goes down on the longest day. And when people go in there and go into a religious state, I can imagine that it becomes something more. I can imagine that if the universe is more alive than we think, that something somewhere noticed that some life forms are doing something there. I was rather attracted to religion as a young man, and I even went to the university to study history of religion when I was around 19. I mean, I don't believe in this Christian way that one religion is wrong and one is right. I will never say that paganism is right and everything else is wrong. That's far away from me. It is kind of a nature religion. It's not a dogmatic religion. It's like if there are gods, then they are natural. Then they are kind of part of the nature, and I think for me it totally goes together to make a sustainable building and making a religious building. And then it comes to this thing, is paganism something from the past, or is it just something that has been living through the centuries? And are we allowed to do things from sketch? Are we allowed to, And I think the association came to the conclusion that it's a living religion. It's a living thing. You can use your own convention to make decisions how things are, and I kind of felt the same way. I didn't want to, the obvious would be to make something Viking-like, wooden stave church-like, thing. But that's for me as an architect, it doesn't make sense. It's like creating a museum. They were using the building technique of their times, and I thought we should use the building technique of our times. I also wanted, I think every architect wants to make something that is timeless, and my idea to do that was to, for example, show the bedrock, just so you can have the feeling that you are just in a cave or somewhere in the deep, much further back in time than the Viking time, and then I wanted to be sustainable. I wanted to use this light structure building rather than something heavy. It's just kind of it goes quite together, the nature religions and the idea of sustainability, to be friendly with the nature that nourishes you. And then the building sites adds in. It's in a slope, and the slope has an effect on the shape of the building. mostly the pagans are kind of in the rituals. The circle is important, and they were kind of asking for a circular building. And what I felt and still feel is that regular buildings do fit on a flat ground. You know, like the tipis in the American culture, and the igloos in the Greenlandic, and the semi-spheres of the desert countries. But so I felt like if I would imagine a sphere falls onto the ground that is sloping, then it takes some kind of a movement when it hits the ground. I think the building is a little bit representing a sphere falling onto the sloping surface of the terrain and doing some movement. I also know that it's very easy to see something like the front part of a Viking ship out of the building, and to me there's also a breast in the building, and I think it's when I realized I was quite fond of it, because I think there have been quite enough of phallus symbols in religious buildings, so it just felt like a good statement. And it's the first temple in a long time, and I would, I'm not the one to decide, but I would picture, pantheon, the first temple being for all the gods. And then when you start to make more temples, then you start to make a special temple for Odin, a special temple for Baldur and Thor, and the Heathen and Freya and Frigg, and all the gods and goddesses. But I think it's very fun to think about the archaeological people in the future, like 1,000 years. It's very funny in one of the Asterix books. There, the guy that is always with his dolmens, his big stones, and he's asked what he is doing. Well, I'm trying to make a mystery for the future century of what do they call it? Archaeology. Yeah, and I can also, fantasize about people in the future, life in the universe, divinities. We're trying to attract the gods, isn't it?